हाँ,
Last class?
थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस किया है सर.
Okay. All right. Today's class, what we talk about? Just one moment. Okay. Right? Understand? What is NAT gateway? And what is the purpose of using NAT gateway? And how you utilize? And why you have to utilize this in AWS? Have you ever heard of this NAT gateway, Neha?
No.
No. Before we discuss about the NAT gateway, let's discuss about how you gonna secure your environment. Okay. So let's take you have a VPC, right? Within the VPC, you'll have your subnet, and each subnet means each subnet is availability zone. Agree?
Yes.
Let's take we have a three subnets. Okay. I don't know how to add a comment. Okay, let's see. So what we will do, I'm saying all these are interconnected. All these are interconnected, and if you want to use this from external world, you'll have to deploy an internet gateway here, right? And you need to add a route to this, and users can access via internet gateway. This is clear? Routing somewhere here, right? Agree?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take what is 3-tier architecture. You know anything? Anything about 3-tier architecture? Huh? Neha, especially you in the development side. What is 3-tier architecture?
Basically, you have the application designed in a way that we have the UI layer segregated from the database layer, and the business logic is again maintained in a different layer. So all together, we have separate layers for the UI, DB, and the business logic.
Yeah.
Universe, actually, there's a lot of disturbance. I'm not sure. Should I connect it again?
Yeah, from your side, I'm getting a lot of noise. I guess you need to reconnect again. I'll pause this. Just reconnect once again.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Sure. if you consider three-tier architecture, you'll have a web, and you'll have application, and you'll have a database layer, right? This is traditional three-tier architecture. Web application, you need to place web application in a different network, because this these web application servers, web servers or web application servers are connected to internet, and they have to accept internet request and serve the customers, right? Whoever want to access the web server, they'll simply put the website URL in the browser. They can simply connect to. That means these servers should be placed in internet facing. Agree or disagree? All the web servers, right? So from web servers, the traffic will be handed over to application servers. That means, let's take an example. Okay, so this is your one of the web servers. This is one of the web server which is running on internet, and it is responding over the internet. So that means whatever the pages that you'll see over here is from one of the web server, right? Then what is an application server and what is a DB server? Application server is something where you will place some request, and it's gonna calculate, and it's gonna update the database. That means, suppose you are trying to place some order, where that order should go and save in the database. So till the time you are browsing, your session will not go and connect to database. Only when you are placing an order, or when you are submitting an order, and when you are doing a payment, those records only needs to be processed by application server and save them in the database. Agree or disagree? Otherwise, you just go and open in a daily basis for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but application servers won't required, or database servers won't required. Only web servers are required, and on the front side, web servers are loaded with all the web page information. You can go and watch. But whenever you're trying to place some order, that order needs to be processed by application server, and that information needs to be saved by application server, and information should be accepted and saved in database. Agree? So do you think application server and DB servers, you need to put it on web public internet facing? Neha, any idea? Sure?
No, we don't need to.
Sure. In this scenario, what we will do is, okay, noise is from Kishore, and Kishore, you can be on mute.
I will unmute.
Yeah, because from your side I'm getting the noise. Okay, so what we have to do is, we should not put all. Let's say last class, what we have done in last class, we have deployed one virtual machine, and we try to access it from internet. So that is accessible. But today what we're gonna do, let's imagine I have a 3 different subnets. One is management subnet, another one is web subnet, another one is DB. Just for my testing purpose. I'll just define like this. So I'll exclude application. I can put application, but 3D architectures application I cannot build in the lab. So what I'll do is I have a one management subnet. In this management subnet, I'll have only management VMs. These are also VMs, but the purpose of these VMs is just for internal usage. No production data or no other data will be saved, or these servers won't do any function other than management function. What do you mean by management? Suppose if someone want to run some scripts on a daily basis, they can keep their data on these servers and they can utilize from here to across the VPC. If they have 1,000 servers in AWS, so these two servers are responsible to all the employees who can log in and manage all the 1,000 servers. Let's consider in that way. Even in your organizations, you might have seen some gem servers or some test machines where you're gonna log in and connect to rest of the machines. Or you might have used the VDI. Have you ever tried using virtual desktop infrastructure? Sure. You have any idea on virtual desktops?
No, sir.
Okay, that's okay. So this management and web servers will be on public facing internet, and this DB server is what I'll do is I'll remove this DB server from public facing, and what I will do is I will place an internet gateway here. Okay, internet gateway here, and what internet gateway will do, if someone is trying to access it from like this, it will stop it. No one can access the DB server from external world, but if someone is accessing from here to here, it will allow. This is internal, because see, database server should not accept any data from internet, but if someone want to manage this database server, they should log in and do some stuff, right, inside the DB server. So how people will log in and manage? Via management subnet, they will log in and manage. So if you are trying to log in from management subnet and manage, it should respond. Clear? Okay.
Yes.
But thing is, DB server sometimes should also go to internet and download some patches. If you consider Windows or Linux server, if it is a Windows server, every 1 month it should go and talk to internet and get the new patches and install it. And same time, if it is a Linux server, after every 6 months or every quarter, it will go to internet and connect to redhat.com and get the patches, install it. So in that case, this server should go to internet and get the information. But if someone is trying to access this server from internet, it should not respond. That is the purpose of gateway, NAT gateway. Okay, IG internet gateway. This is the internet gateway. This is NAT gateway. Clear? Any questions? No questions? Let's go and create the same. So I'll go to VPC.
Excuse me, I do have a question.
Yeah.
How do we maintain the DB servers in order they can go, the DB server can go on internet and connect, but you cannot access it
That
via
is what.
the DB server. So how the security system is maintained?
That is what. See, if someone is trying to access the machine, then there is a problem. If you are sure this server can go to internet and get whatever the data that this server want to, because you cannot keep or you cannot stop machine accessing internet, or you, I mean, in some way you can do it. Sometimes you have to do it, stop accessing the internet, but the requirement is this machine should go and talk to internet to get the patches.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone is trying to access the same machine from internet, it should not respond. That is we need to achieve by NAT gateway. Server cannot be accessible from internet, but server can go and talk to internet.
So that communication from server to the net will be done by NAT gateway or internet gateway?
NAT gateway. Whatever the rules and regulations that we gonna put it on NAT gateway, and NAT gateway it in turn pass the traffic to internet gateway. Internet gateway will send this traffic to external world. But if someone is accessing DB server, internet gateway will allow. But if the traffic comes to NAT gateway will stop. You cannot go inside. That's it.
Okay.
Got it? At the same time, if this management network machine is trying to access this DB server, NAT gateway will allow.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Because this subnet, and this subnet are interconnected, and within the VPC you'll have all the subnets, and all the subnets can talk to each other, right? So let's go and create VPC first. What is VPC? See, fine. Edit host names, enable DNS names, okay, close, and then go to subnets. I'll create a subnet. Yes, mgmt underscore subnet 1, management subnet, 0.1.0/24. Okay, I'll create one more subnet, web underscore subnet 2, return b, and 10.0.2.0/24. db underscore subnet 3 on the same VPC. See, 10.0.0/24. And what is the next step? Create an internet gateway, and underscore IGW. Internet gateway has been created, and attach VPC, whatever the VPC that we have created. Done. And what's the next step? Routing table. You need to create a new route table. Okay, and underscore route table 1. Right. Route table has been created, and in the subnet associations, here the tricky part. You should not select DB to the main route table. So what you have to do? You have to create management. You have to associate management and web. These two are using this route table. In this route table, what I will mention the route, everything, and edit routes. I'll say 0.0.0.0 that goes to internet gateway, which is internet gateway we have created. Done this part. So what I will do now, I'll go and create NAT gateway, and NAT gateway is not free, it will be chargeable to you because this is an appliance. This is not the network part or a network component. This is a small appliance, NAT gateway. Then it will be a chargeable, minimum chargeable for somewhere around 5 to 6 rupees per hour or something, but depending on your usage. Okay, then if you see, if you are placing a NAT gateway, it will ask you for a subnet. Where is subnet? Which subnet you want to use? I want to put this NAT gateway on web management subnet. So this gateway is deployed in this subnet. Okay. This is a subnet. And allocate one static IP to this subnet. So create an IP. This is the IP address for NAT gateway and create. Close. Okay, that's going to create in some time. In the meantime, what I will do, I will go to route table and I'll open another window. I'll go to EC2. I'll go to route table, create another route table, and underscore, what is that? Route table underscore in NAT gateway in the same VPC. Create. So in this subnet associations, what I will select, only DB. So only DB will use this route table. And in the routes, what I will do, I will add 0. Here I will select NAT gateway which we have deployed. Then, so what is the difference between this and difference between this? Route table. Okay, this is for NAT gateway and this is for what happened, web, and this save. And route table. Here what I will do, add route. This is internet gateway, save routes. Close. Okay, this is route table 1 is going to internet, and second one, this is going to NAT. So we have two route tables here in the picture. This is one route table. From these two subnets are using route table 1, and I have created one more route table. What was that? This route table is associated with this subnet 3, and via NAT gateway it will go to internet gateway. That is how I have defined. Let's go and deploy two different virtual machines in two different instances, two different subnets. One subnet, what I will do, one I will put it on management, and second I will put it on DB. T2 micro. Next. So here what I will do, I will select management subnet, and network interface. If you want, you can assign the IP, or it will auto assign the IP. Let's see. Right. Next. 8 GB, that is fine. And name tag, what is the name? MGMT VM. That is the name for this virtual machine. And select existing security group, VPC. Now we'll go to, we forgot one thing here, security groups. The default one, we need to create a security group. Okay, again underscore security group 1, description, hello underscore all, VPC, print, close. Edit rules from SSH to my IP. Right? So I'll utilize this one. I'll go to internet, EC2, and here select, I have to go to previous. Go to previous, management VM next. So if you come here, I have created a new one. I'll select this one, preview and launch. Okay, and details. Okay, we'll create that. Create and launch. And what is that? Lab underscore key is the PEM key, right? Done. So machine will get created. Hey, meanwhile, what we will do, we'll add, sorry, I have added the routes to here, but what I will do is I'll add the routes here, inbound rules, add, SSH, my IP, save the routes. Okay, then I'll go to machine is initializing, and I'm getting this. At the same time, let's go to putty application. Where is my lab key? And underscore user, EC2 hyphen underscore user at the rate 3, yes, I got connected. This is my management VM, which is on subnet 1. Subnet 1. What I will do, I will go and deploy another DB server. Let's try and access the same. Okay, launch one more instance. Again, T2 micro. But this time, I'll put this machine is on DB subnet and reservation. Let's see. Okay. Next. Next. X is fine. And same. Next. Same key pair. Okay. And second machine got initialized. Instances. Let's see if it is still running. So I will copy this and I'll try to ping first. Copy. Ping. You will not be able to ping, but if I ping from this machine, I will not be able to ping from here. Okay, but what I will do, if I try to access this machine from external world, I'll see if I can able to access it or not. EC2 -user, right? So you'll get a timeout. See, you'll not be able to connect to this machine. But what is the internal IP? Just find out the internal IP for this machine. This is internal IP. So timed out, because this is deployed in third subnet and internet gateway is trying to access this, but the NAT gateway is blocking and the machine is not reachable. So that is the reason why you are getting timeout. I'll just close this out, and what I will do, I'll take a private IP, and before that I need to do something. So if I want to access this from here, SSH, this machine, let me connect to sudo su hyphen. You are on root prompt now. Let's go. SSH. Not working. Let's ping. Nothing is working. So what we have to do, have to go to security, internet gateway, security groups, the routes, go to routing table. This is private IP for this. This is elastic IP. That's okay. This is appliance for private and elastic IP. NAT gateways. Security groups. Create a security group. Okay, this is only one security group is required. Inbound rules, outbound. Like outbound, everything is allowed here. Inbound, only SSH to maybe let's try and see. Okay, just allowed because the reason is I have mentioned SSH is allowed only from my laptop. That is the reason why it is unable to access. So the moment I change the SSH allowed to everyone, it got activated. And if I say else, still you will get an error. The public key is missing. So what I will do, I'll need to provide a public key to access this machine. So let's do one thing. PWD, where I have CD in the root I lab dot key. What is the key? I have it on my desktop. I need to provide that key. Which key? Lab underscore pem key. Open with more apps, notepad. Okay, let's see. This is the key. I'll just copy this key. I'll paste it on here. And then ls -ltr. What is the permission? Okay, so now I am trying to connect SSH -i key. And what is the IP? This is the IP. What is the error message? Warning, unprotected private key file. So private key means if you see the permissions, the private key is accessible by root and group and everyone. They can read the file. So I want to restrict that. So how to restrict that? Chmod 400 lab key. Here you see only root can access the file. So let's try it again. SSH key. Please log in user rather than. Okay, So exit. Sorry. SU. EC2 - user at the rate. You see, now you are on DB server. This much lengthy process to access a machine, and from this machine, if you ping google.com, you will be able to ping. Traffic is going outside, but if you access this machine from outside, what is the machine name? This is the machine name. But try to access it from outside, you will not be. Right? At the same time, just one moment. భాను గారు, నాయుడు గారు, ఒక్క 5 minutes అండి. ఇది అయిపోయిన తర్వాత మనం స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాము. వీఆర్ అబౌట్ టు క్లోజ్. జస్ట్ బీ ఆన్ మ్యూట్. Neha, you getting?
Yes.
Okay. If I try to access this machine again from internet, restart, machine will not be able to, you will not be able to access this machine, but from management network, you can log in and manage your server, but from external world you will not be able to. See, you will still get the timeout. Right? This is how you secure your workloads within the one VPC. Any questions? Bit tricky. You have to practice once to understand. If you have any questions, you can ping me. Okay, Kishore, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, just practice this once, and then tomorrow we'll discuss. Okay, load balancer and stuff. Neha, are you fine with it? Just watch this video. If you have any questions, you can ping me.
Sure.
Okay? Yeah, sure. You can drop off, and we'll join tomorrow at same time.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.